Welcome, and for many of you, it's welcome back because we have so many people watching. It is so cool. Welcome to TGIF. I'm Tim.
And I'm Gina, and that's exactly right. We have been doing quite a few porch visits lately. It's good to be back.
It is very good to be
meeting
back.
with people in person now that we're done with the smoke, the fires, and your back issues. But one thing that really has brought us joy is to hear how many of you are watching TGIF. So this is a shout out to everyone who we have been on your porch or in your backyard or in your house that have been watching TGIF. That means a lot to us, and we are glad that you find some value in what we share each week.
And those porch visits have really become a way for us to stewardship our time in really productive ways. It's a way to get closer than TGIF to each and every one of you. And so we are trying to be really good stewards of that time. And sometimes we're there for
supposed to be
half,
15 minutes to 30 minutes, and it often ends up more. But I want to tell you, we enjoy every moment of it. And many of you ask, do we have time to spend like we've been spending? And do we really have the time? No. But we do make it a priority because we know the value in getting to know as many of you as we can, since we can't be with you very often.
And that takes us to the word of the day. Our word today is stewardship.
Perfect.
What are we going to do with that word today?
There's a lot to do with stewardship.
It can get really heavy.
And I know in the Bible, there's kind of an understanding in the Bible around stewardship.
Especially when you're talking about the New Testament. The New Testament has so many references to money. Jesus was one of those that did talk about it and the importance of how to use it and its purpose. But in Colossians 1:15 and 16, there's a cool image that I grasp a hold of often, because sometimes all we think about in stewardship is money, or we start talking about 10% of the tithe. And in that phrase, it says, "For by him all things were created. All things were created through him and for him." Bam, that just lands us right what stewardship is all about. Everything we have, we get so caught up in giving that 10% or focusing on the 10%. Here's the reality. Our lives, everything we have, everything we are, is because of what God has done.
Right, and it all started in Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Everything belongs to him.
Not just part of the heavens and not just part of the earth, or not just one person, but all people. It created all animals, created everything. So everything comes under his authority. And so everything that we have, that we've been given, that we've been blessed with, is, in essence, it is God's. And so why are we so caught up in not giving it all back to him and giving everything for him to use? That is really hard. And I think when we talk stewardship, we get caught up in the minutia of, the things that I'm spending my money on and the struggles of that. So stewardship, we've broken into really 3 pieces that we want to talk about today.
Number 1, stewardship in the Bible has to do with understanding that your life is not your own. Your life is on loan from God.
I love the play in those words because that really puts it in perspective for me. Our life is not our own. And I love the idea that it's on loan. This body, it's going to wear out. It is wearing out.
It is, actually.
And so the reality is, as it wears out, what is to become of it? I want to use it all up for the glory of God. I want to just be all in all the time for the glory of God. And that means at times getting rid of some of the me stuff that's in there. And that's hard.
Number 2, regardless of where you stand on what we just shared, God calls you to steward everything about your life for his glory and for the good of others.
I think that's hard, especially when we're finding out more about ourselves. If you're a young person watching this, you have some growing still to do. And the growth that takes place can either be self-centered or it can be God-centered. And when we start talking about everything you do for the glory of God, first and foremost, right? That is the first and foremost. But how many times do you have opportunities to do good for others?
Each and every day.
Man, we heard some stories this week. I think of one particular, a mother and a daughter, and how she is about doing good for others, and she is about showing that to her daughter. How important is that to show the next generation that not only is this something that you talk about and maybe encourage somebody else to do, but then go out and do it. Really live it out and be a part of doing good for others. But I think until you can understand fully that initial, that everything you do is for the glory of God, then you stand at a disadvantage.
And I think what gets us to that point is that fear of when we fully give everything to God, when we fully trust God, we feel the sense of losing our own freedom and losing the control of the fun that we want to have, the places we want to go, and the things that we want to do. And I think that word stewardship tied into that makes us think, oh, now I have to give more of my time, of my money, and I'm expected to do more. So kind of that wanting to distance a little bit from that, because when you're all in, you're all in.
And freedom in this culture probably resonates differently than other cultures, because I know that when we go and visit Guatemala, or when we've been in Israel or Paraguay, the places that we've been, and understanding freedom is very limited in other nations and other countries. It looks really a lot different than what we have here. And I think we are so spoiled here with our freedoms that we don't realize that we need to actually see the freedom is found in worship and worshiping Christ and giving our lives to God and all that we do to God. That's the freedom we've been given in this nation, but yet we want to hold on to this freedom to be self-thinkers, self-motivated, self on everything, rather than, more focused on allowing God to be a part of everything. And that's the fear. Really,
absolutely. And the third point, it's not about what you have, it's about how you handle what you have, because that is what determines what you'll do. And I think of the widow in the Bible.
The widow's mite. Yeah, that's a great example. How she gave the very last that she had, but she gave it in a way that what Jesus saw is what Jesus should see in all of us, that we're giving it out of joy, that we're giving it out of a confidence in what God has planned for our lives. Stock market will come and go. Our jobs, the many things that we rely on come and go, ebb and flow. All of that moves all the time. But that widow, what Jesus saw in that widow is just something so special. And I think for us to try to grasp a hold of that, it's hard because we hold on so tight to some of the things we have.
Things.
That's hard.
And to the money. And just that stewardship, the concept of giving or offering, I just kind of want to share my personal testimony of how I came to wrap my mind around this through God's grace and through deepening my relationship and my walk with God, because this has been a journey. And I think that we look at it as it's an either or. You do this or you do that. This is absolutely a journey. My whole experience of giving or offering at the church started back when I was attending parochial school, went to Mass on the weekends, and I just saw people pull out money out of their purse or wallet and put it into the offering plate. And I did the same, but I also never wanted to give everything that I had. I would only give part of it. So my concept of it, when you go to church, if you have cash in your purse or your wallet, you just put it in and you put however much you want in. That was my concept of it. And then as I got older and as we started our relationship, I remember that first church that we started attending together, which is the church we were married at. I remember reluctantly putting money in, thinking, okay, we're getting married, we're gonna have kids, we don't have money. And it was kind of that whatever we had. But you were the one who already had gotten a little bit further in your trust in that. And we started giving faithfully every week. And that was hard because I think I was usually the one that wrote the check, and I'm like, do we have to give that much or do we have to give that much? But let's just fast forward, because this could be a long story, to what I came to realize is that it is all God's. And we have had a lot of ups and downs financially, just personally in every area of our life. But I don't look at it as giving. I really have taken on that concept of offering. I'm offering back to God what was all God's to begin with. And writing that check, okay, like that, I sound so old school, writing that check became a joy. And I loved that I did it consistently, even when finances weren't where we needed them to be. We have faithfully given what we feel God has called us to give, but it's an offering. And I don't even question that, but I think about, it's just the loose change in my purse, or I've got 2 10s, I'll give 1 10 because I need 1 10 in case I'm gonna go to lunch. And that was kind of the mindset, but now I love that we give online. And I know that we're gonna be talking about something new that we have at Centenary, which is so awesome. But even as soon as we got to Centenary, because y'all had the online giving as an option, we got set on that. So I'm not writing checks anymore. Well, that's good because we're not really in church every Sunday anymore in this situation. But let's talk about this new push pay option we have, because I think a lot of you all that maybe have never committed to giving or never really found an easy system for doing it, we now have a new platform in place that has made giving so much easier. Tell them about it.
Giving just got easier, and because of some very hard work by Carrie Sampson, we're so appreciative of her stepping in to lead and orchestrate how this rolls out. But because we have this opportunity now, one of the things I like is it automatically is set up, right? So it's something that I don't have to worry about, and because it's set up, it in essence makes it easier. One of the things I do miss, though, is that element where we would take the offering and put it at the altar and pray over it. That's an element that, as we move into this COVID time and this new culture, new way, I still want you praying over what you're giving to God.
Yes.
I still want you to take that time to say, okay, God, it's all yours. Help me to figure out where it all goes. And that's really what you're doing, because even though we give to the church, we also give to other
missions and organizations, and we do that faithfully. And again, it's not that we feel like we have to do it. It's what we get to do. It is a blessing to be able to give to organizations, to missions, to the church, knowing that God is going to use it, and God's the one who multiplies it. I think about what we give Him. I trust that God's going to multiply that. And
it still gives us more opportunities of more places to give. So the giving platform is what is being upgraded, and it's paving a way for what's coming. And I'm so excited about this part of it, because the app is coming to your phone. You'll be able to get sermons. And I know that there are some people that do not have the smartphone, and we are still going to, and that's what Carrie Sampson is so good about. She knows that need is still there. She is going to make sure that those that do not have access to the app have a way to continue to get the information. So don't get stressed out about that. But this app is going to reach out to the next generation. It's going to give us access to the next generation, not only with sermons, but we can push out an instant prayer request. That is what's been so incredible to me. But you also have the ability, besides going to centenarychurch.net/giving, you can text.
This is all set up right now to do.
It's ready to go, my friends. You can text My Centenary, one word, My Centenary, to 77977 and begin to give through your texting. How great is that? It's something that I've thought that in a moment, sometimes when somebody forgets their checkbook or whatever, this is a way that you can just grab a hold and take care of that. So it's exciting. And if you have a lot of questions, I imagine you do, we're going to continue to update you on the app that's coming. We're hoping by Thanksgiving. But if you need to call the church office, Melanie is there. She will help you, or she can direct you to Carrie, 209-527-5441. And that is a way that we want to keep you connected somehow. And I'm just so excited about it. It has so much potential. And with that.
And I think that as you look at all of this that we've kind of been sharing, this is a journey, like I mentioned earlier, and it's creating habits of giving. And I think that maybe a reflection question that would be good for us to leave you with today is, how can you continue to grow in your giving habits? It's continuing, and we're still learning to do that as well. So we leave you with that, and we thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit with you, and always reach out to us. And if you're looking for a porch visit, contact the church.
We're ready.
And we'll be there. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.